Shop Tour Bus.
Okay. This episode of No Simple Road is brought to you by Shop Tour Bus. Visit shoptourbus.com or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram.
Check out all their cool little their cool designs. They sent us, me and Apple, our boxes.
Yes, thank you guys.
I got a little playing card, a little.
You keep it on your phone?
Clubs. I keep it in my wallet. It's the coolest playing card I've ever seen. It's a holographic playing card, and the little 8 clubs do a little spinny dance every time I wiggle it.
So throughout the day, you just randomly pull out your phone and wiggle your playing card.
Well, my phone is also a wallet, but yes.
It's a fallet?
Fallet.
A wallet.
Why don't you yell at Ryder for having a phone and a wallet together?
Because I don't have to deal with the aftermath of Ryder losing his shit.
Oh, you don't?
See, I don't lose my phone. That's the thing. I haven't lost my phone in forever. like
shit.
6 years.
So we love our
ShopTourBus.com.
shirts, man. Thank you, Luke, guys. Who packed our boxes?
Oh, no, I forgot.
I didn't forget.
Started with a B.
Becca.
Becca.
Thanks,
Becca,
Thank
you're the best. I'm
you.
sorry we forgot your name.
4 brains make one.
That's right. Yeah, man. It's back to school time, and I tell you what, guys, you do not want your kid going to school with no shirt on.
No.
You just don't.
Also, they won't let your kid in school if he doesn't have a shirt on.
And when you take your kid to school, put on a shirt.
yeah, like, make sure your kid... PSA, make sure your kid has a shirt on before leaving school. Another PSA, make sure it's a Shop Tour Bus shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to wear a cape to school, let them.
Carrie.
What about that hoodie? That Shop Tour Bus hoodie?
What?
Wait.
It is- yeah.
I have not heard about this yet.
They've got a Shop Tour Bus Steal Your Face hoodie, and it's
Steal your
rad.
face. Steal your
Is it
tape.
Steal Your Tape?
Steal Your Face
Tape's my
tape.
favorite design. Oh, I'm going to have to get a hoodie.
It's getting hoodie weather.
It is hoodie weather.
So the weather's changing, and everybody's going back to school. If your kids haven't gone back, they probably start tomorrow. And everything's getting mellower. Our summer is winding down. And when you drive your kid to school, it's time to wear a shirt. So
It is.
that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to Shop Tour Bus, and you're going to get more than you bargained for. You're going to get a cool bootleg in the box that's custom designed for your mind, soul, and body.
Today I will be listening to my bootleg. I haven't gotten a chance yet, but my car also has a cassette
You
player.
guys are so weird.
It's because we have old cars. Well, actually, I don't know how old your car is, but my car's a 98.
Right on. All right. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to get a cool bootleg with their shirt and stickers and
Action
flyers
figures
and action
and bubble
figures
gum.
and candy?
I got a little toy soldier.
Come on, man.
And bubble gum.
How cool is that?
And they were both of the boxes were Aretha Franklin tributes.
So ever since that day, anytime anybody says Aretha Franklin, I think urethra because you guys said that and now it's stuck in my head.
Well, that's just always how it's wanted to come out of my mouth was urethra, and that's not right.
not respectful.
And now it's not cool.
no.
It was funny before, but it's not
It's
cool
not
now.
funny now. No. So anyway, shoptourbus.com, guys. Go there, wear a shirt when you drive your kid to school, and make sure your kid has a shirt on when they go to school, because if they don't, they'll get sent home, and it's bad. It's really bad. But what I was going to say earlier is your kid can also wear a cape when they go to school,
Yes.
like Carrie's son on
Shop
his
Tour
first day
Bus
of kindergarten.
doesn't sell capes, but you can write Shop Tour Bus on a cape and have your kid wear it.
Yes, you could, Ryder.
Could do that.
Yep.
That's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
So, shoptourbus.com or at shoptourbus on Instagram. And, yeah, wear shirts.
Wear shirts, especially in the winter. Make sure your kid's wearing a shirt in the winter, at least a shirt. It's cold out.
Yeah.
You don't want your kid catching a cold, and then you're going to get a cold, and everyone in the house is going to get a cold. It's going to be awful.
Look, they
Make
got your
sure
back.
you buy a Shop Tour Bus shirt so you don't get a cold.
And you could buy a hoodie now, from what I hear.
Exactly.
Get more than you bargained for. Shoptourbus.com.
Hey, this is Ross James. No Simple Road is part of the Osiris Network. Osiris is creating a community that connects people like you with podcasts and live experiences about artists and topics you love. We'll be doing many live concerts this summer around the country, which will include artist interviews, contests, and more. Sign up for the newsletter at osirispod.com to stay in the loop. Relics Magazine is a media partner of Osiris. For music news, go to relics.com.
Osiris.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple road.
What?
It's light and fruity.
You're light and fruity.
Yeah.
Like an apple.
Like a nice dessert wine.
A Moscato.
Yeah, sure.
Good morning.
Apple Moscato.
Hey now, No Simple Road family. Welcome back.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Yeah, it's getting cool out.
I'm wearing a hoodie and a jacket. It's not necessary, but it's the first time I've had cause to break out the jackets.
Darwin just exploded
no.
Apple's face over there.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, guys. Wow.
talking.
Be glad that radio
We don't
doesn't have smell-o-vision. Yeah. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning, everybody.
Say hi to the people.
Hi, peoples.
Yeah, man. So this week's episode is Ross James, and we had quite the soiree last night with Ross and the Cosmic Twang.
Yeah, this was very cool how this came together because first, Ross is a very, 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 very busy man.
Hashtag
And,
very busy.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get things lined up, and when we did, it was just fantastic, like talking to an old friend again. And that was about a month ago that we recorded this episode, but then we get an invite from Ross that they're playing the Goodfoot last night here in Portland, and to come out and see him and meet him, and we went and did that.
We hopped on the Goodfoot and did the bad thing.
Yeah, to go see him and Scott Law and Cosmic Twang at the man. It was amazing. You're gonna hear some of it.
Yeah, I recorded some of it, and you'll hear it at the end of the episode. But
So stay tuned.
yeah,
Well, I think one thing that was super cool was that, like Apple mentioned, we had a kind of a little rough start trying to get together with Ross first, interview-wise. And at the end of this interview that you're about to hear, we're like, oh yeah, we can't wait for you to come out to Portland sometime. And he's like, actually, I think we're going to be in Portland. And then to get that call or a text from him saying, hey, why don't you come out and check us out right on the week when we're about to release the episode. Like, these things did not, we couldn't have coordinated this
you
any
can't
better.
plan stuff like that.
Yeah, we couldn't have planned it. So we were about to release the Ross James episode today, this week, which you're going to hear. And a month ago, we recorded with him. And last night, we saw them.
Yeah, man.
So that timing was pretty incredible. And to just walk into the Goodfoot and immediately the first person we see sitting at the bar is Ross, just chilling. It was really... just the ride, the cosmic ride is getting trippier and trippier. That's really what I
For
need
sure.
Yeah, it's cool to see how it all comes together when it all comes together in hindsight. Like, we've done a lot of stuff this summer. There's been a lot of doing, and it's the seasons are changing. Like, summertime is ending and fall is happening. You could feel the fall in the air, and kids are going back to school.
Palpable.
And yeah, there's an energy shift going on the planet.
Also, all the leaves are falling.
That too. And it's just a trip to look back over everything we've done and see the surreal connections, and walking down streets and seeing people that we're supposed to interview and running into them at High Sierra
And running into listeners at every show.
Oh
Again,
my
last
gosh.
night, running into
Dobie.
Yeah.
And Ashley.
And Ashley,
yeah.
Shout out to you, girl. I feel like sometimes when we get approached by listeners, I feel like I'm like this dumb, like, durr, like my eyes going to spin or something like that.
Yeah,
Because Ashley was so sweet. She's like, I've been listening to you guys for a year. And I'm like, yeah. And I wasn't high or wasn't.
You were fucking high.
Oh yeah,
as shit.
actually I
What are
was
you
high.
talking about?
Maybe-
Stoned.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had some
stoned. I was
cannabis.
cannabis high. But yeah, so sorry if I seemed awkward or weird last night, Ashley, if you're listening. But Yeah, sometimes it gets a little crazy.
Surreal.
Yeah, because we're just, we're going to go see Ross. He invited us. We're going to go have a good time. And then next thing you know, we have people being like, hey, what's up? And which is fucking rad. We love that. It's cool. We're meeting our family. But then it's like, oh, shit. What am I?
Interesting.
And at the end of the show, towards the end of the show, I was looking around for it, but that place got crowded.
Yeah.
By the end, it was packed. I was looking for them to say hi again, hang out for a minute, but we missed you guys on the way out. And
I want to say something to the family out there too. Like, Dobie said something to us last night that made me feel like I needed to say something on the show. He was like, he said that when his friends saw us, they weren't sure if they should come up and talk to us.
Oh my God. Always come up and talk.
Always,
Yeah, man.
Always.
We're
Even
just
if we're
fucking
gonna be
people.
weird, do it.
God.
Even if it's just one of us, and you're like, oh, I don't want to bother them by themselves. Come say hi,
Dude,
No
if
matter
you guys
what we're
see
doing.
us somewhere, please.
If I have if any of us look grumpy, definitely come and say hi to us because it'll instantly make our day better.
and we're
Absolutely.
not grumpy. We're just in a
I've been told that I
headspace.
look grumpy if you don't know me.
You might have resting
yeah.
bitch face.
Yeah, a little bit.
You might.
Yep, a little bit. That's okay.
Hey, a lot of people do.
I've had
There's
people
nothing
tell me
wrong
like,
with that.
dude, before I met you, I was fucking scared of you. Like, you're intense.
When I was
you are
scared of Aaron,
intense.
when I was a baby.
Yeah, you were
Scared
scared of
of
Aaron.
Aaron.
That's true. But
Yeah. So Dobie, thanks for pointing that out to us for saying people are either awkward
Reticent
or intimidated
to
or
speak to us?
yeah, just freaking do it. Nike.
Hell
We're in
yeah.
a Nike town. Just fucking do
I'm
it.
fucking Santa Claus. I'm always in a good
yeah.
mood. Come up and fucking hug me.
I'm a big teddy bear. Shit.
Yeah.
And I challenge you to find me in a bad mood.
yeah.
And do
my
it.
awkwardness has nothing to do with your ability to come say hi.
Yeah.
Same.
So, point of that ramble is if you see the No Simple Road crew out at a show and you listen to this show,
We need to start taking.
it's your duty to come say hi and take
Come
a picture
dance
with
with
us,
us.
Or
man.
out
Come
on the
dance and
street,
hang out.
at
This
a
is all
coffee
about
shop.
This is all about community. This is all about family, and it's about growing it and making it bigger and getting to know each other and feeling connected. So we are not some fucking weird
Well, we are weird.
Yeah, you can't.
celebrities.
No,
no,
that's
we are not
the
that.
silliest
We're
thing in
just
the
people that go to shows, just
It's
like you
what
guys.
So we're like, who said that? D-list.
D-listers.
We're D-list.
Fuck yeah,
celebrities.
I'm good with
I'd
D.
say E-list.
Yeah, I
E-
go a little
I'm
bit
good with
further.
E
E-list
too.
celebrities.
Yeah.
Get it?
Not F
E-list.
list.
Anyway, sorry.
DL
Does
list.
it count when you create your own celebrity?
We're our own list. Yeah.
Isn't that what most celebrities do?
No, some of them are.
I guess you're right. No,
definitely-
you're right. Yeah, yeah.
So, come say hi, guys. It's about community and family. And if you listen to this show and you know us,
wanna meet
then
you.
you're part of the family. We want to meet you. So, enough about that. I'm gonna get to the business, right?
Business.
Business.
I thought you were gonna read a letter and.
Oh yeah, I am gonna
Got
read.
a letter.
Well,
We just got a letter.
okay.
We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from.
It's from somebody that didn't give their name. Oh, it's from Steven.
There you go.
And it's not really a letter. It's more of a poem.
Oh.
I'm going to read you a poem. Poetry by Steven. There was an evening during the summer in Illinois that I lost my mind. I was with all the right people, the good ones. We took acid, the stuff from the 70s, perhaps a little too much of it. The wood grain and the floor started to wave goodbye, and we giggled, lost and found. We had to take a walk up around the north side. I could have climbed that staircase for the rest of my life with those people. I still might be. We passed some of the other folks that recognized the journey, and they smiled and we kept going. Made it back, kinda. That's when it let loose. I was screaming for the rest of my loved ones to know. There were those colors, the ones we haven't seen before, all of them, so fast. I just kept trying to tell them. That wasn't the point, though. Someone knew to call her, and she saved me, quietly and with grace. I sweat the rest of it out, woke up face down, and found myself again. The walk home spit those colors across the sky. I've been raising a cheer ever since. And then he wrote at the bottom, he said, "Thanks for your podcast, I feel y'all. I found this writing in my phone's notes. Please use it however you please. Just wanted to share. Peace and love."
That was awesome.
That was
I
super
love the
cool.
simplicity of it because we know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You can feel that one. And our brother Preston out there wrote us.
Preston.
Well, he wrote a journal entry that he shared with us, and it's way too long for me to read on the show.
I don't think
But I just want to say, Preston, thank you, man. Thank you for being vulnerable and for sharing that with the family. And for all of you out there that have no clue or context what I'm talking about right now, it was a trip report of his experience at Dead & Company and Folsom Field in Boulder. And you know when you read somebody's writing and it ceases to be a story and becomes tangible, and you're in it, and you could feel the feelings that that person is describing and smell the smells and hear the sounds. Like, that's really how it was.
Yep.
It moved us all.
Yeah, song marquee, you have a way of doing that as well with your writing, which we really love.
Yeah. So that can start the business, guys. If you have something interesting that you want to share with the family, you can send it to nosimpleroad@gmail.com, and we will read it on the show with your permission. And it's really cool, man. It's cool to get those things and
Share with the family.
it shares with the family. Exactly, Mel. And it creates that connection that we all need so badly in this world today.
Well, it helps all of us to feel like we know a little bit more deeper the inner workings of like Song and Preston and Carrie's and Billy's and all of these amazing people that we've met. Like, I want to give a personal hey to Billy and his wife Diana, because Billy, you've been really awesome, you know, writing Aaron back and forth. And although we all think that words are just these silly little things, when you put these certain words together at the right time and send them to us, it's like receiving a hug or a kiss or a confirmation or something that we needed to hear or see. So I just, like, for all the people who are like, you know, have a little bit of trepidation for writing us or contacting us, just don't. Just come up to us, just write it, just send it, because it really does help us throughout our week, throughout our day, and it helps the show. When we put it on, we get comments and letters about other people's letters and how it's touched them. So if we can just be the little conduit that you guys you know, have pass through, like, listen to this, look at that, you know, drawings, send us your fucking drawings, whatever. But yeah, that's all I just wanted to say. I'm just really grateful for the communication with this community.
And you know, on that same tip, like, I was having a really rough time last week. Some stuff happened personally that I wasn't happy about, and I was at work and I was having a really fucking bad day. I had a pounding headache and I was stressed out and I had a knot in my stomach and I was and out of the blue I get a text from Billy, you know, saying, hey, just keep being you and you're doing a good job, and whatever the text said. And it was so perfectly timed and so poignant for the moment. And if he hadn't been available for that, for himself to be vulnerable and just send that, it wouldn't have done that. And so the point is, you never know how what you're sending out into the world is going to affect the people that are out there that need it. So if you're feeling like you need to do something like that, just do it, man. And you'll be amazed at the things that happen on the back end, because in reality, we really are all connected. We're all the same things, split into these myriad parts and pieces and fractally generated over and over again. And it knows what it needs. The universe knows what it needs. And if you're available to that thing, it can really reach out and grab somebody. So, yeah, man. nosimpleroad@gmail.com. You can share all that stuff with us and just be available for each other, guys. You know, it's a beautiful thing to connect, really is. So speaking of connection, you can follow us on Instagram at No Simple Road. You can also follow us on Facebook at No Simple Road. You can get all the past episodes and newest episodes and No Simple Road merch at nosimpleroad.com. And also at nosimpleroad.com is the family tab where you can sign up for the newsletter. If you scroll down a little bit on that tab, there's a spot where you can put in your email. We won't share your information with anybody, but every once in a while I'll send out some of my writing or personal thoughts or questions or, you know, whatever. And that's how you can get involved with the show on another level. And speaking of another level, guys, patreon.com/No Simple Road. That is how we keep the lights on here at No Simple Road. It's how we pay for the hosting and we keep the train rolling down the tracks, guys. And you can pledge as little as $1 a month, and that helps us do what we're doing and spread the love and spread the community and grow and reach out to each other. And that is how you are involved with the No Simple Road family on an even deeper level. What do you got to
say? Thank you to all of our regular Chan donators and Patreon subscribers, because you guys have helped and allow us to do a lot of things this summer, from the concert tickets to the printing of the shirts and buttons to just getting everywhere that we wanted to get this year. You guys have helped, so thank you so freaking much for helping to fulfill our dreams and come back and report it to you guys. That's all I got to say about you guys, you awesome Chan donators.
Yeah, man. And just so that the goal stays in front of the family out there, the goal is to get me doing this full time. So every one of you guys that signs up on Patreon gets us one step closer. And you know what, man? Building community and being together in this thing is the most powerful and awesome thing I've experienced in my whole life, beyond having a kid and being married. So I will say that, and I appreciate you guys more than you know. So yeah, that's patreon.com/No Simple Road. What do you got over there, Apple? You look pensive and no,
I'm just sorry. I want to do the intro.
Oh, okay. Can I just
the interview?
Okay, we're not there yet.
Random?
We're almost
I know.
there. Yeah,
I just
random
wanna
is
say
good.
something random.
Do random.
You guys, Higgs, I love you. John, David, Jesse, and Garrett. Thank you guys so much for that warm fucking welcome the other night at Boone's Ferry in Salem.
That was so much
It was
fun.
one of my favorite nights that we weren't like traveling or going to a festival or a concert. Like, you guys, I felt like you guys were serenading us. We finally heard the Tazo tweezer. We heard the awesome long version of No Simple Road, and it was amazing. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's on the No Simple Road Instagram page. Sorry, I'm dying over here.
And Aaron recorded the whole show. We're going to be doing some more.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to tell you guys too. We've 3 times now, 4 counting Howling Rain, we've recorded shows that we've gone to, and I have been holding back on them. We recorded the Higgs, we recorded Howling Rain, we recorded Mapache and part of Grateful Shred, and also this Ross James show last night that you guys are going to hear at the end of this episode. And I have just been holding on to them, and you know what? I'm going to put them out as mini episodes so that you guys have access to the music, because everybody needs to hear it, man. And yeah, it's just something we can do, and you guys will get some benefit out of it, and it's cool to go to the show with us. So I'm going to do that when I have a minute.
Eventually.
I'm going to do it. I promise. But
You be stop
And
promising
it's
right
it's
now,
been really
Aaron.
fun too. All these lately, all the shows we go to, doing the live stuff, going live. Where you're going live on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's been a trip.
So
for
definitely
sure.
follow us on Instagram. Back to Instagram. Follow us on Instagram so you can come to our shows with us.
Yeah, I did. I only did a few minutes last night, and it was funny because I'm there and I'm doing Instagram Live, and they're fucking jamming, and I'm like, I don't want to be doing Instagram
Trying to stay-
Live.
I'm
I
gonna
just
say-
want to
Trying
hang
to
out.
stay still.
I'll have to say that I appreciate it from a fan's perspective, but it fucking hate when you do that because you're the guy that's holding up the phone when this amazing
that
concert's
too.
happening. So
People are going, "Oh
I'm
my
a little bit
God."
torn because I can appreciate the after, like we
Yeah,
got the
somebody's
recording.
gotta do it.
But
You
it's
gotta give the
fucking
people what
annoying
they
to
want.
not be able to like fully let yourself in. Like, oh, I can't go near him, so his arm doesn't get hit. Like it's
That's when you can find a really
double-edged.
good spot.
Like last night.
Like last night, and when we were at Mapache.
Yeah.
When we were there, where you can just put the phone above your head and lean against a pole, and then you can still groove. You're just holding your phone up, and it stays
It was
stationary.
cool. It was cool last night because I got down in the front by the monitor and just knelt down. So I wasn't in anybody's way, and I wasn't like blocking. I wasn't that guy with the phone standing there. I just got down and did it. But as I'm down there, I'm like, I don't want to be dancing. And then finally I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, sorry guys, I gotta go. I gotta dance. I'm out of here. Click. I'm out.
And last night, that was so intimate again last night in there. The people in the front were 3 feet from them playing,
Yeah.
It started encroaching more and more kind of like towards
Like fans
them.
were like walking across the stage at one
Uh-huh.
point. I'm like, nobody's gonna stop them from just strolling across with their
No,
drink.
they were all just smiling and jamming.
have-
It was very intimate. Thank you guys. What an amazing show last night.
Ross's face when
So
he was
happy.
jamming. I don't think I've ever seen anybody like that. Like he's got a completely different look and a different face than I've ever seen anybody play guitar with. Like one of the things I love about John Lavero, the
gonna say
Higgs,
that too.
he's always smiling and it just looks like he is in heaven. But Ross, he just had such this neutral face that was completely happy, but I don't even know.
And
It
so
was
forceful. The way when he charges.
It
Like,
was just unique and really freaking amazing to watch the way that he plays music. So I wish you guys were there to see the face, but you guys are gonna listen to the show and hear him and
Scott Law, seeing him, getting to
yeah.
see him. He
wow.
looks so he's so intense, but he's so mellow.
When he's not playing, he looks mild mannered.
Yes,
And then he
when
gets up there
belts it
behind the mic.
out, it's like, holy shit, brother.
Yeah, man. Listen,
and Keith, the bassist.
Oh, he's a barefoot madman. He was incredible.
if you guys haven't already done it, go on YouTube and search Cosmic Twang.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also that's what I was gonna add. Check out Ross James, Freak Farm Records, Freak Farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got to
Ross
see some.
James's voice.
He did some of his songs from that last night, which was awesome to hear and see.
His voice is like, if you think of you're outside on a cold night and you're holding a really warm drink.
You know what his voice is like?
That's like that.
Grammy's blanket.
Yes.
It is. It's very comforting.
It like tucks you in and makes you cozy and warm. That's
Yep.
what Ross James's blanket.
And then his
or
guitar punches
voice
you
is
in the
like.
face.
And then then let's see who else. Then you can catch him with Midnight North.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
That
yeah.
he plays with and travels around with Graham
And with Phil Lesh and the Terrapin Family Band.
Yeah.
and
Just saying.
That's
Yep.
how
No
we saw
biggie.
him.
I mean, this is a very
That's what made us want to see him, or actually interview him. Is seeing him play with the Phil at
back
Crystal
in
Ballroom.
February, yeah.
Yeah, I just looked up and was like, "Who is that guy playing guitar?"
And now you see
And-
what he does. He's in all these. He's so busy
Yeah.
because that's where he's the happiest.
Yep.
We saw that last night.
It looked like, while they were playing, it looked like they were sharing this fabulously long, involved inside joke with every note.
Uh huh.
Oh, and then they would like finish the song, and it seemed like they were finished, and they'd be like, "Nope, we got a fourth round for you." It was really it was fun to be a part of the show.
And not for nothing, Ross, I hope you listen back to this, and I just want to throw it out there. We would love for Phil and the Terrapin Family Band to come back to Portland again. That would be really special.
Yes. Yeah.
So, anyway, Apple, do you want to do the honors this week?
Yes, I would. So here we go. With no further ado, this was a pleasure. This was very exciting, very informative, and here we go. Here is Ross James.
I meant to do that. Get off your phone, Apple. It's time to play.
Research related.
Let's play the game.
I ask you not to tell me how to do my job. I'm not telling you how to do yours.
Check. Oh my gosh. It's ringing. How's my hair?
Little.
Hello?
Ross!
How's it going?
Good morning, brother. How you doing, man?
Not too bad.
Sorry for the 15-minute delay. Our bacon hadn't become bacon yet.
Oh, that's a good excuse. That's fine.
So good morning, man. Welcome to No Simple Road, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out with us a little bit. Say hi.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Right on, bro. I'm Aaron, first off, and sitting next to me is my girl Melanie.
How's it going?
What's up, Ross?
How are you?
And then over across from me is my brother Apple over there.
Hey, Ross. Welcome to the show, and thanks for your time, man. Good to
Thanks,
have
man.
you on the line here.
Right on, yeah.
So Ross, man, in leading up to having you on the show, like, we obviously follow all the stuff that you're doing, man. Like, how do you find time to sleep, dude? With everything that you fucking do, brother. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't sleep as much as I should. I don't know.
Dude, I
Busy-
think you win
busy times.
the award for fucking hardest working dude in the dead family.
It's good to be busy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like, when you stop and think about it, man, is it surreal for you?
Yeah, totally. Every moment of every day.
Totally.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. Like,
It's a very weird situation I found myself in here for sure.
like, and you basically, like, it wasn't like something that you climbed for. You kind of
Not
just
quite. No.
No, it just happened, right?
Yeah. I mean, I always wanted to play and whatever and do this sort of thing since I was like 9 or 10 years old, but never really in this scene, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, just sort of found myself playing with Phil's younger son via just like a random wanted ad looking for a guitar player. And it's snowballed into this for the last 8 years or so, I guess it's been.
Man, and you were there for like the beginning of Terrapin and all of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was like it was the Christmas before Terrapin opened in like March 2012, I think it was, and it was Christmas before. I was at a party and talking to Phil and Jill about the thing that they were getting ready to open. They weren't quite sure what it was going to be, what it was going to look like yet. And I remember talking to Phil and just being like, if you ever need any help down there running cable or production stuff, because that's what I was doing at the time. I was doing live sound. And yeah, if he ever needed anything, I gave him a card and started working at Terrapin when they opened, like a month before they opened, actually. They did a bunch of rehearsals and stuff there.
It's Apple and I have been there. Mel didn't go with us when we went, but like that's something special, dude. What's
there's
there?
no doubt. There's no doubt. It's a very, very unique place, and it means a lot to a lot of different people. It's a cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the Grateful Dead thing, what it represents and the energy that's there, the feeling of that place is so cool, man. Like it's different than
like
any
home.
other place I've ever been.
It feels like home. When me and Aaron
Totally.
walked in, we went in and Graham was playing at brunch.
Ross was there too.
And it was just amazing. It made you feel so at home, like you're just hanging out, having some of the best food ever too.
It's a pretty laid back kind of vibe there. It's like an extension of their living room, I think, was sort of the goal.
It's crazy.
I mean, it was like it was inspired kind of by Levon's thing in Woodstock. That's where the idea.
Yeah.
Like you walk through Levon's kitchen, and all of a sudden you're in the studio where they do those shows, and feel like the idea of being close to home and not having to be out on the road.
That's got to be
So that's
that's
what he
got to be
did.
super tough at his age to try and balance that. I mean, dude, we just did Eugene Dead and Company, and then had like 3 days off, and then we went to High Sierra Music Festival. And then we're going to fish at the Gorge, and like, I'm 46, brother, and that shit nearly killed me just doing that. I can't even imagine
I know
what you do. Like,
well, he's doing it too, man. He plays almost as much as anybody I know. And I mean, like, we go out on the road or whatever, and it's tough to be tired or whatever if he's showing up like raring to go. You know what I mean? He sort of puts it all in perspective.
You're like, okay, if he's gonna be here and doing the thing, I better get my shit together.
Yeah, I mean, it lifts you up for sure.
It seems like, I don't know, from the crowd's perspective, from my perspective, like, you watch what's going on. Like, we saw you guys play here at the Crystal Ballroom in Portland,
right?
And it seems like whatever that energy is that happens, whatever the thing is, like, it infuses you guys with light and life, and it that's the thing that's keeping all of you going through all that rigorous touring and everything that you have to do. Like, the energy of the music is what keeps you propped up.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I mean, that playing, like, getting to that point or like having that come through is easier done with Phil than with anybody I've ever played with, for sure. He's got a way of sort of channeling it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And something that I've found out recently in the past few weeks too is, like, Phil's responsible for a lot of the music that we're all listening to right now in a really roundabout, not so weird kind of way. Like, he's tutored all these people, and you being one of them. Like,
yeah,
that's a legacy. Like, you get to carry that thing, whatever that thing is, on.
Yeah.
What does that feel like to have that, like, put on you?
I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about. I mean, I try not to really think about it, I guess. It's something that's been really important to him, and it doesn't really feel as big as it is when you're in it, I suppose. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he's my buddy's dad, you know, and we play music together, and it's a powerful thing, and that's sort of the only way I really try to look at it.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
Nothing other than that, I guess, you know?
I guess if you tried to dissect it and get inside of it too much and break it apart, it would lose its magic.
Yeah. I mean, just sort of go for it.
Well, dude, I'll tell you, just for us, for this family, like, man, watching you at the Crystal Ballroom, that's the first time I had seen you with Terrapin Family Band.
Okay.
And my God, brother, like, it's hard to believe that you didn't come from that thing. Like, it wasn't in your repertoire already, that it, you know, it seems like it's your DNA from our perspective.
Thanks, man. I mean, my mom was into all that sort of stuff. She grew up in California in the 60s, and she used to see the Dead. She wasn't like a big Deadhead or anything, but she would go see shows in the park and, you know, Monterey Pop Festival and that sort of thing. So, I mean, that spirit, that type of thing has always been part of me and part of my life, but just not really that band until the last few years.
What was was it when you went to work for them that you kind of started getting into the Dead thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I never really listened to much of it before then.
Such a trip. Oh my God, dude. Wow. So
Ross, what kind of music were you playing?
That was what
I mean, I've always been into like older country music and bluegrass, punk rock stuff, the Stones, stuff like that, I guess.
Wow. Yeah. When we first started communicating back and forth, we sat down as a family and listened to Freak Farm.
Oh, cool.
And man, you have a gift, my friend, of storytelling in, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but the same kind of way that, like, Loser or Deal or those kind of songs, or Peggy-O, like will tell a story and follow it. You've got that same thing, bro.
Right on.
Yeah, and it really
Well,
comes
thanks,
across
man.
cool.
I mean,
yeah.
that's what it's always been about for me, is the song. You know, if there's even just like one line or a couple lines in there that really grab you or something like that, and it's like that playing those tunes with Phil just about every night. Like a different lyric or a different line from some song will like hit me in a totally new light, depending on what's going on in my life, that's what it's all about, you know.
Totally. And I mean, we talk about, that's cool to hear you say that, dude. Really cool, because we talk about that amongst ourselves a lot, like how this music and all of it has a way of following you in your life and changing based on where you're at. It kind of meets you where you're standing in a weird kind of a way, and how certain songs will mean something to you at a certain point in your life and then not at others, and others jump out, and it's crazy to think about what that is. And that's kind of been my trip with the whole thing, is like, what the fuck is it, man? What is this thing?
There's something there for sure, and it's so interesting how it affects different people different ways. Like a show that somebody might not dig or whatever, somebody could walk away feeling like it was a really powerful experience for them. You know what I mean? So it's a scene unlike any other that I've been a part of.
I just gotta say too, you put so much of yourself out there, and I appreciate it. We do as a family. You have so much music, the stuff you do, like Scott Law, Cosmic Twang, Midnight North, with Phil, your own record label and album now. Man, you put it out there for us to see, and we're feeling it, and it's amazing.
Man. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's like I said, like just doing a frickin' podcast, we're just sitting on our porch getting high, talking to people, and
that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, good. And we're not on the road, and I wonder how in the world do you stay focused through all of it? There's so much coming at you, man. Like, do you find that you have to find a balance in everything when you're doing that?
Try to, yeah. I mean, it's easy to just sort of get lost in everything that's happening, for sure. But, I mean, I feel really lucky to be in the spot that I'm in right now, and just kind of going wherever it takes me.
I guess that's all you can do, just hang on and ride the wave, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Going back to when you were a kid, like, you said your parents were into music and did the thing, like...
And my mom, yeah.
Yeah. Was it something that you knew when you were younger that you wanted to do, or was there something else that you were after?
Yeah, like, when I was in, like, 6th grade, like 9 years old or something like that, we got to pick, like, an elective class in school, and I picked, like, band or whatever, and I was playing trumpet. And it wasn't really going that great, and the music teacher, like, there were a ton of kids that were playing trumpet, and the music teacher was sort of like, you know, maybe try something else. It sort of pushed me out of it, and it bummed me out big time. And then the next day or a couple days later, I came home and my mom had gotten me a guitar, and that was, I mean, as soon as I picked that up, it was pretty much the end of everything else.
Wow.
For me,
does your mom still encourage you? I can't imagine she wouldn't.
She would. She passed away 10 years ago now.
Oh.
Yeah,
So that's kind of a cool thing that you play that music and she brought it on, and look what you've done with it. What a tribute.
Yeah. No, she'd get a kick out of it for sure.
Heck yeah.
Fuck, man. That's crazy. So for us, like, I got turned on to the Dead in '89, right? And saw a shit ton of shows, toured and did the whole thing, and then kind of fell out of it and had a really, like, dark time in my life until I met Mel. And the first years of our marriage, like the Dead and the whole scene wasn't really part of our world. But then I would say maybe 6-8 months before Fare Thee Well was announced, things started coming back around. And Fare Thee Well represented this huge thing for me and for her, and a resurgence. Like, I'm asking you because you're on the inside of it. Obviously, I see what's going on the outside, but like, for you guys, was it as much of a resurgence as it was for us, that thing?
I mean, it definitely put the whole thing in the spotlight, and it was sort of in everybody's mouth. Been with those shows, like one from every year, kind of, you know, celebrating every year of the Dead.
Right.
And I mean, for all of us, it was an experience to go through and listen to it, like chronologically, like that. And I mean, it was the first time I'd ever really listened that deep. So for me, it was really neat to see how the band changed over time. And yeah, I mean, it made it part of like the whole consciousness of like the whole country. Almost, it felt like, you know, everywhere you went.
Yeah, and it's still going. Like,
oh yeah,
we just talked to a guy that does like memes on Instagram,
right?
That's getting famous behind doing fucking memes on Instagram, man, about the Grateful Dead. You know, like, this whole fucking weird thing has happened now, where this scene that like was kind of an underground thing has taken off and gone into the mainstream, and also meshed with technology.
Yeah,
in a weird.
And there's a whole new generation interested in it.
And I think that's part of what you're doing too, man. Like, you're carrying it on. The music will never stop.
Yeah, it keeps evolving and growing.
Yeah, with you and Graham and everybody that's there. Like, is that? I don't know. I guess this is kind of a silly question, but fuck it. Like, whatever. Is that something that's in your consciousness, like forefront of your thinking? Like, man, we're keeping this thing going.
Not really. Like something that I think about as we're doing it. I mean, there are moments for sure, like after a gig or something, if somebody comes up and talks to you and you realize what it means, but I mean, like I was saying, it's just, for me, it's a blessing to be able to be playing these songs and playing them with the people I'm playing with, and just trying to bring it when we do it, you know.
You definitely bringing it. So what was your role in the Fare Thee Well thing? Like, you had a pretty big part in that, right?
Well, I mean, there were a couple of years where I was like Phil's tour manager, and that happened to be one of the years. So yeah, it was a lot of work.
I can't even imagine standing, from our perspective, being in that stadium in Chicago with 75,000 people was unfucking real.
Yeah, it was a bizarre experience. I'd never even been to a show, like a stadium show that big, you know.
Really?
Yeah. So it was super crazy.
And then you're the one, like, you had a huge part in manifesting that thing. Dude, come on, man. That's so crazy.
That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Super weird.
It was
Super
quite
weird.
the gathering.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, like, I guess it just goes to show, like, the universe picks what it picks, and it does what it does for its own fucking reasons, and we don't have any say in what's going down. Like,
and that's kind of what's cool about working for Phil and Jill, is they have that attitude, and they meet people, and it doesn't matter where they're coming from or what they've done. If they trust them, or they get a good read from them, or if they want to work with them, they do it, and yeah, I mean they could do things a lot differently than they do, but they're very involved in all of it, and it's pretty cool.
Well, I gotta ask too. I mean, we've obviously followed me and Aaron dead since late '80s, early '90s. Does Phil ever sweat? I don't think we've ever seen Phil sweat on stage, and he has that aura about him. He is just so relaxed. Like
that's how he is, man. We played a gig in New York years ago, like on one of those boats that goes around the city, and there was some rough water. And like it was in between tunes, and everybody in the band was like sort of shaking and bobbing around, and he's just standing there rock solid. We looked over at him and just laughed.
Wow.
Okay.
He's unfazed, man.
You have like the best fucking tutor on the planet.
For sure.
It's what when you guys are doing your thing at Terrapin, like you said, Phil and Jill meet people, and if they trust them, they work with them, and that's basically how you ended up there. And
yeah, totally.
So, I mean, at first you're just running cables, and then it's growing. It grew and grew until now. That's how it happened.
Pretty much. I mean, I was playing gigs too. Like when we first opened, there were like 4 shows in the bar, and I played those gigs. I actually did sound and played at the same time, like the first 3 nights that we were open. And like the first time I ever played those tunes, and I've like got a little mixing board next to me, and I'm like doing the sound. It was a ragtag operation at the time compared to what it's turned into. But yeah, I mean, it started that way, and then I'd do sound when I wasn't playing, and then Phil would call and be like, "Hey, you want to play tonight with me and Jackie?" And we'd play in the bar, and that's literally how it was in the beginning.
How cool to have that, I don't know, space available for you to evolve in, and
that he's willing to make that a priority too for all of us. I mean, we used to do this thing, we call it Phil School, where we'd like get together and rehearse, and he would sit there and listen and then give us feedback or tell us to work on this other thing, or like before the family band really turned into a thing, we would do this Phil School.
Wow.
How did that family band come into like birth?
I don't know, it just sort of happened. I mean, it was kind of a thing from the get-go with Brian and Graham and Phil as the core, and then I would play with them a lot, and then Alex Koford came into the fold. He's an old family friend of theirs, like pretty much like a cousin of theirs, and it just sort of happened, I guess.
We're glad it did.
Yeah.
Right on, me too.
Yes.
So with Cosmic Twang, like, what was the idea behind it, and why, man?
Well, when Terrapin started, Brian and I had a band called American Jubilee, and that was like our main thing. And then he had a child, and sort of changed his focus and stopped playing music, kind of. And I was bumming because Brian was like one of my favorite people I've ever played with, and I miss making music with him. And I don't even know where Scott came from. I think it was through Tim Bloom that the first time he came to Terrapin.
Mm-hmm.
But him and I sort of instantly connected, and just started playing together a bunch. And I don't really know how the band started, but it's Scott and I, and the rest of the lineup is ever changing, but most of the time the core is Alex on drums and Scott Patton on bass. But we've had, Holly Bowling and Cass McCombs and Neil Casal, Jay Lane, Dave Schools, all those folks have been part of the part of the band at one point or another, and just kind of keeping it ever changing and making it like a unique event whenever it happens is sort of the idea.
That's what's amazing about this. What everybody, all the names you just mentioned. This music is so like organic and just growing and changing. You never hear the same thing twice. It's special. It's magic.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
When we sat down and listened to Freak Farm, Apple and I were sitting out here on our porch, and it was kind of late at night, and we're listening, and I'm like, dude, and this sounds weird, but I hear like Lou Reed influence.
Lou Reed and Velvet, yeah.
Is that a thing for you?
It's a huge thing.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that night I talked to Phil right before I asked him if he needed help down at Terrapin. I was kind of getting in a fight with them because I brought up the Velvet Underground because they were both called the Warlocks before either band changed their name.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Phil said he didn't like the Velvet Underground, and I was like, "What are you talking about, man? You're killing! Like, how do you not like the?" And I was getting kind of upset. I was drinking. It was like a Christmas party, you know, and then fast forward to now, and one of his favorite tunes that we play in the Family Band is "Sweet Jane."
Sweet Jane, yeah. You're like, ha 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 ha.
Funny how that works out.
Yeah. So, what's the future look like for that band? Like, are you gonna do more stuff? Are you gonna be playing out? Are you gonna make more albums? Like,
I was just looking at your schedule.
You talking about Cosmic Twang?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, there's a spot in San Francisco called the Chapel that we have sort of a residency at every month or two. Play there. I think we're going to be back there in September, and a couple more times in the fall, and we're doing some shows with Nikki Bloom in September, and Scott and Nikki and I are going on this river trip in Idaho next month. I mean, Scott and I play a lot of weird gigs together. We're going over to Barcelona in October for like 10 days with a bunch of other folks, like Nikki and Krasno and some of the guys from String Cheese and Green Sky. And so, yeah, I mean,
how much fucking fun, man.
I know.
Jesus
I kind of
Christ.
just follow him wherever he goes, pretty much.
It seems like, maybe like more in the 80s, 70s, even like, I guess even the 90s, like bands kind of like were their own band, Nirvana's their own band. You didn't see too much, people straying outside. And it seems like now it's just like one big band that everybody kind of steps in and out of. I think that's really awesome what you're doing, Ross. Like, that's such a cool thing. It like allows you to not be like pinned in a box, like, okay, I'm playing this Cosmic Twang with this band, and then I'm playing a little bit more of a cleaned up version with this band, and it just seems really neat to be able to explore all different sides of yourself musically, like all the time.
It's something that it keeps it interesting. And the thing I really like about Twang is, I mean, these friends that I've made over the last few years because of this crazy world I found myself in, like the fact that they'll come jam with us, and it blows my mind sometimes. And then it's kind of like pushing them out of their comfort zone a little bit, you know what I mean? It's nice getting to hear these guys I look up to so much just playing rock and roll with us,
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. And we get the benefit of it as much as you guys do, man. Like seeing it happen from a fan's perspective, from the audience, it's so rad, dude, because the Dead is its own universe. That music, that catalog, is its own universe, and the original Grateful Dead was its own thing. And then seeing that all this has come out of it, I think of it like a big tree, and these are the branches on that tree.
Totally.
And to watch you guys do your thing and know that this thing that I've been a part of and loved for so long isn't going to stop really fucking makes me happy. And like to see you guys laying down seriously a legacy, man. Like, and I mean, even after Phil is gone, and that thing is going to keep going and expanding and growing. That tree's branches are going to spread. It's
Totally.
it's beautiful to watch. But
Yeah.
you've had all these moments, obviously, with all these different people and different places. Fare thee well, playing with Krasno, playing with all these people. Is there like one thing that stands out in your mind as like the most surreal, fucking trippy thing where you were just standing there going, "What the fuck?"
That happens a lot. I mean, playing with Schofield, for sure, is kind of a mind blower. I mean, we went to Japan with Phil. That was pretty insane.
What's that like?
It was nuts, man. I'd never left the country. That was my first time. Like, I had to get a passport to go do those gigs, and we get there, and we went like a week early. And we're hanging out in Tokyo for a week, and Graham and some other folks and I went to go get lunch or whatever. We're walking down the street, and some guy in a tie-dye runs over, like, freaking out. And he recognized us, and then he runs back into the store that he was working in, and he comes out with a magazine, and it's like a picture of us with Phil on the cover of the magazine.
Whoa.
And it was like, that was a pretty surreal moment. Being in Japan.
How
and
fun
so,
for you.
How fucking fun, man.
yeah, pretty
You're
wild.
just gonna go have lunch and then that happens.
Yeah.
How cool.
I was
That's
just
pretty
trying
weird.
to eat.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna
So,
back up
yeah.
a sec. I'm just kind of looking. I kind of do research while we're talking to you and stuff. You mentioned the Idaho thing. I'm looking at this, man. So this is, people can go and you go on like a 5-6 day river rafting adventure with the musicians. You
Yeah, it's
stop
pretty.
and camp.
It's pretty wild. It's the company's called Idaho River Adventures, and it's the Salmon River, the middle fork of the Salmon River that we float. It's like 100 miles worth of river over 5 days, I think. And Scott, Nicky, and I did it last year, and it was a game changer for me, for sure. I never spent that much time out in the wilderness like that, and it's a pretty beautiful stretch of river, and great people that put it on. And yeah, we float around all day, have lunch, take a hike in the middle, and then when we get to camp, Scott, Nicky, and I play before and after dinner, pretty much.
You're fucking kidding me? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's great. I mean, a lot of people do it. I know the String Dusters guys have done that trip, and Tim Bloom's doing a couple this year. Like, he's doing one with Greg from the Hips, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a great trip. I can't wait to be back on the river.
That's not too far from us here in Portland. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
jump
You should
on
go,
that
man.
raft.
You
Fuck
should
yeah.
go.
That's
Definitely.
pretty awesome. You said it was a game changer for you. What was the game changer part of it?
I mean, just being out. Like, we were the last trip of the season last year, and the weather kind of took a turn halfway, and it snowed a little bit one night, and it was just cold and rainy, and you're outside all day. I hadn't had that shift, that, like, your body kind of shifts into survival mode in a way.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
I hadn't felt that for a long time, and just being out there. I mean, we saw bears and bighorn sheep, and it's beautiful place to be.
It's a trip when you realize, like, especially if you've lived in a city most of your life. Like, we moved from Las Vegas, we had all lived there most of our lives, up to Portland. And when you realize that Mother Nature is much bigger than you are,
Yeah,
and she can fuck you up if she wants to.
Yeah.
That's a trip when you finally that hits you, man. Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, it got so cold, and you don't warm up for like a day, and then the next day, sun comes out, and you sort of realize why people used to worship the sun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know if it's coming back, and we sure are glad when it does, man.
Yeah, right.
So, as far as like what's happening at Terrapin right now, what's the thing that you're most excited about that's going on there?
Well, it's summertime. I love getting to play outside, and we do that a bunch. I'm doing an acoustic gig with Krasno and Jackie in a couple weeks. That'll be fun to get to play with those guys. acoustic, sort of more focused on the tunes and less jamming. It's just a different environment. I mean, it's always something different. That's what's great about it. I play there every Thursday when I'm in town.
Jesus.
And different bands pretty much every night. So that's always cool, bringing in different friends of mine.
So one of the things that I've kind of discovered talking to different musicians over the past year is like the way that music is a language, and using that language to excuse me, to communicate with each other. Like when you bring somebody in that you've never played with before, right? But you respect this person, you know their shit. When they come in, is it like trying to learn somebody's different dialect, like somebody that has an accent, trying to understand the way they talk? Is that how it is when you start playing with somebody that you haven't played with before?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, sometimes it can just be like picking up, feels like you're picking up mid-conversation that you started like 10 years ago. But I really like that. I mean, you said you listened to that, you said you listened to Freak Farm on that tune, Henry Hill. Near the end of it, there's these two guitar solos that happen, and there's two guitars playing on both of them. And that was my buddy Isaiah Mitchell, who I had met like a few months ago. I'd never heard him play, but we'd hung out and listened to records, and I knew, like, I had a bunch of mutual friends who said he was a great player, and like I knew he was a great player.
Right.
And he was happened to be hanging out, and I was like, hey man, how about you and me take a couple passes on this? And we just did it at the same time. So on the record, that's the first time him and I ever played together.
Wow.
So we're getting to hear that like raw.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how that record came out. Like, I booked, there's this studio out here, not far from where I live in Stinson Beach, that I'd wanted to go to for a long time. And some dates came open, and I just booked them, and I didn't have any plan to make a record or anything like that. And we just went out there for 3 days and recorded like half of it. It just happened in those 3 days. And that's sort of how the whole experience was. Like, a couple of those tunes are like the first or second time anybody ever played them, you know.
So was that stuff written before that, or was that all on the fly?
Two of the tunes get finished out there, and the rest of them I'd had written. And then we recorded some other stuff that didn't get on there, but yeah.
Are you one of those dudes that like has to push and pull to get lyrics and music out? Or are you one of those dudes that like, no, I woke up in the morning and rolled over and wrote down everything in my journal and then just played it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I can't really push it out. It comes when it comes, kind of. But I don't know. I've been writing with Scott lately, which has been pretty cool. Writing with another person, that's something I hadn't done before. And that's a little more regimented, I guess, you know, than the way songs have come out of me in the past. So it's been a nice experience doing that.
So, all right, I'll ask you something strange, dude.
Oh no.
Oh no, something strange.
This worries us sometimes too on
Nah,
this end.
well, good.
Oh.
So
I'm not worried.
Yeah, don't be. So like, we've talked a lot on this show about the like shamanic aspect of music, and like how we've lost ritual as a country, as people. Like back in the day, we would dance around the fire and the shaman would sing and pound the drum, and that was the way that we connected with the other side. And in my mind, what the Grateful Dead do, and psychedelic music in general, is create that environment. And these shows that we go to are more than just fucking concerts, brother. For us, it's more than just getting high and going and seeing a band play. It's an experience, and it's a ritual. And the players that are on stage are the shaman that are conducting the energy of the thing that's happening. Is Is that something that you see from your side of the stage?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like on a good night, the way I describe it is like you're not playing, you're getting played.
Oh
You
shit.
know, like the music's kind of like coming through you, and that's what we're all chasing. And that's something that Phil feels and has created environment for. I mean, and that's definitely something that I've always kind of felt that and didn't know quite what it was. And having that be sort of brought into focus the last few years has been really cool.
It's cool to hear too from my perspective. Like I can be there and experience that thing and then want to trick myself afterwards that it was just whatever. It didn't happen, or it was all in my head. And I think a lot of people feel like that, man, and it's cool to hear other people say it out loud.
Yeah.
And to know, like, okay, this shit's happening, man, and it's real, and we're experiencing it together.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, we got to play Red Rocks earlier this year, and like 20 minutes before we went on, I was talking with Phil about how because it was my first time being there, and just what a powerful place it was. And he was telling me about the ritual that used to happen there before, way back before it was an amphitheater, before anybody was there except Native Americans, and they would set up the fire where the stage is at. And he was saying that all the warriors from the tribes would stand up on the rocks for, you know, a day, 2 days, however long the ceremonies took. And this all happened in this place that we're about to go play rock and roll music at. And
Wow.
it's like 20 minutes before we go on, and I was definitely thinking about that.
Whoa.
Powerful
Well, yeah.
grounds.
Yeah, man.
So I've never been to Red Rocks. Is the energy different there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I recommend going.
Yeah.
You know, Ross, out of a lot, we've been asking you a lot of questions and stuff, and it just seems, based on your answers, like you just really kind of go with the flow of things. You're not thinking too much on, you know, necessarily how it's going to affect or trying to affect a certain way, just kind of letting it flow through you. Is that how you are personally as well?
Yeah, maybe to a fault, but yeah.
But I mean, it's admirable. It really is, because, I mean, a lot of people talk about trying to become in a flow state, or that meditative state where things just come, you're a vessel or whatever, and to be able to be like that on more than you're not, that's a very wonderful place to be.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. What about when it's not?
I don't know. It's a tough way to make a living, you know.
Doesn't sound like you're having too hard of a time.
No. But, you know.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm not like great at like selling myself or that kind of thing, you know. And that's a whole other part of this.
Well, I was gonna back again to touch just on Freak Farm too. This is one of those things. This has come up recently. Like, we all have a soundtrack to our lives, and you have become a heavy part of the soundtrack to our lives. We've spent many nights on our patios, cooking dinner, listening to this album, and
That's
like
awesome.
every time I hear it on Juarez with Nikki Bloom, like that one is so special. I mean,
Cool.
the whole album is just amazing, and you have such a calming voice. I mean, I can groove to it, or I can put it on and you can sing me to sleep. It's like it's like mellow. It just reaches all those points of the brain, like scratches them for me.
Yeah.
And it's
Cool, man.
I guess that wasn't really a question. That was more of a
No.
statement.
Yeah, because same thing. Like, you just had, like, I don't think that I had a question either, Ross. Just like your vibe comes across not just in your music, just also in your energy, and it's a cool wavelength to be on.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, man. I gotta say too, it's strange from me, like, starting to do this thing, and then I know you know what I'm talking about when you listen to music and you like somebody and what they do, you kind of put them on a pedestal in your head.
Yeah.
And especially rock stars, man, they become like gods to people.
Sure.
And then getting to do this and talk to you guys and just realize that we're all people and we're all fucking figuring it out, and that you're having the same fucking experience we are really means a lot. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the honesty, and I appreciate that you put it out there and that you're not afraid to expose yourself. Is that hard sometimes when you're open like that and you put out your album and that's your insides out there for everybody to see? Do you think about that?
I mean, I think I'd go crazy if I didn't do it. I mean, that record
Oh, wow.
is something that I've wanted to do for, 20 years probably. And I mean, I put everything into it. I financed the whole thing, you know what I mean? And like, I was involved in all the artwork and everything. I had my good friends do all that stuff with me. And yeah, I mean, it was like, it's a part of me. And I feel better having gotten that out.
That's
sure.
rad. That's really rad. I know what you're talking about when there's like I don't know, the muse or whatever you want to call it, that creative impetus that's in you.
Yeah.
And if you stifle that thing, it rots inside of you. It can fucking rot.
Do you ever feel that, Ross? Like you don't want to put something out, or that you want to keep something to yourself creatively?
I don't know. I'm not afraid to like put stuff out there now. I mean,
Right on.
I've like with Twang, we've written tunes. Like Scott came over to my place one day and we finished a song and we played it that night with a bunch of people that had never heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that for me, that's part of the whole thing. That's part of why I do it.
And especially being part of the family that you're part of, like there's so much support and love
Yeah,
and kindness.
there's nowhere else in the world that you could play to such an open audience, and it's pretty cool that we're allowed that. You know what I mean?
Right on, man.
I was just gonna add to we were just did the life changer for us just this past weekend at the High Sierra Music Festival. Part of like your family, like we feel part of our family and everything. We got to hang out and talk to like Neil Casal and to Twiddle. We hung out with those guys, and it just so much of it comes back around to Phil and the Grateful Dead, and it's just amazing to see this family growing so much and thriving again, and having you be part of it, share your time with us. It just, you can feel what's going on in this world, and it's messed up in a lot of ways, but what we're doing is throwing that love out there.
Yeah, you got to keep doing it.
Yep. For sure. So tell everybody out there before we take off where they can find you and your stuff and all that.
Yeah, I have a website. It is rossjamesmusic.com, and records can be purchased there, and it's all on Spotify and iTunes and all those other places you can download music. And yeah, playing with Phil this summer, and come on the river with us, man.
Fuck yeah. You know what? I'm just going to put in a personal request, Ross. Come back to fucking Portland with the family band. God damn, that was
or
good.
Or by yourself, or with whoever
Scott
you come with.
Scott and I are playing there like 3 times, I think, next month.
Oh,
sweet.
Wow.
I'll tell you what. I'll just I'm going to throw this out there for what it's worth, dude. You don't know me, but
Yeah, if you have time in between.
if you got time, dude. You
Yeah,
got a big fucking house and lots of room.
Good
Come
coffee,
have dinner.
good food.
Dig it, man.
Not a hotel.
Yeah, away from the road. Right on, man. One last thing before we go, man. I don't know when, but sometime in the future, I would like to talk to you about maybe doing something from Terrapin. With the show.
Totally. You should.
Maybe a live podcast or something.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That'd be the place to do it.
Right on, brother. I thank you for that.
Yeah, we make that happen.
Okay, cool. Hey, Ross, thank you for your time, man.
Totally. Yeah, let's hang out in Portland, like the 24th or something. I'm there for like 5 days.
All right, you have my number or no?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, hit me up when you're here. Let's do it, man, for sure.
Dig it. All right.
All right, brother. You be well today.
Thanks,
You too.
Ross.
Good talking to you guys. Yeah,
Take it easy,
care.
man. Have a good day.
All righty.
Bye.
how do y'all feel about
It's almost too close. Little sister, baby. My mama, father, little sister.
it's occurred. And valley needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a new born. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Osiris.